Hey guys, Gus here and welcome to another video by me, Colour of the Gods. Hope you're all doing well, and I'm bringing you something a little bit special today. As you probably know from my last videos, I started Warhammer 40,000 back when it was 3rd edition. So I mean 3rd edition was a basic rule set. It wasn't as complex as 6th and 7th, but it's close to my heart because obviously that's what I started with. It's not the best rule set ever, but just personal preference. Objectively, it's not that good, but you know, I just like the rule set. So today, I'm bringing you my review and discussion over Codex Armageddon, as well as Codex Cityfight. And these can, if you want to, be used with the current rules, and they're more for just getting in the mood for the third war for Armageddon. Which, if you don't know, I made a video last week about it, just discussing, or sorry, reading out, you know, the background to the conflict. In short, it was hive cities on a hive planet, industrialization, poisoned the atmosphere, everybody has to wear cool looking gas masks, and they got invaded by orcs twice. So this is the third war for Armageddon. The orcs are led by the charismatic Guzkul Thrucker, which is on the front of this book, and the Guzkul Thrucker supplement has just been released for 40k, the new one, 7th edition. So I have a feeling, just a feeling, might not happen, but I have a feeling that the third war for Armageddon is going to be redone for 7th edition, which is great. I love it. I'm busy building an Imperial Guard army, Steel Legion, the cool guys with the gas masks, and all their allies like Space Marine chapters that were there on Armageddon, as well as like an Inquisitor force, all sorts. And I'm going to do painting tutorials on all of those miniatures. I freaking can't wait. It's going to be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go cameras down and have a look at these books. They're absolutely fantastic. If you want to get in the mood for 40k, for wargaming, for Imperial Guard and Orcs, this is great. Okay, this may be the absolute weirdest freaking camera angle I've ever tried, but at least you guys will get a good look at this book. So, first thing you see, obviously it's a very thin book. I mean, there's not going to be much in here. The back of the book, you get your Steel Legion, your Black Templars, Orc Speed Freaks, and Salamander Marine. They're all obviously involved in the Armageddon War. And on the front cover, you get this freaking awesome fight between Guzkul Thrucker and the legendary Commissar Yarrick, who killed an Orc warlord and took his claw arm, which is pretty freaking cool. And the miniature's really cool. And I'm going to paint it for you guys in the next few weeks. Bonus. Right, so you open the book up, and in typical 3rd edition fashion, there's lots of black and white. Now, obviously the new books are flashy and there's like, you know, more colour artwork and the production quality is higher, but the thing is with these older books is that the content is there. I mean, yeah, it's black and white, but who gives a fuck? I mean, the content's there. And immediately you get, you know, 3 army displays. Let me just damage my book and open this up and show you guys. So I mean, in this book you are getting shown the Salamanders here with their Land Raiders and the old school Rhino and is that a Razorback? No, that's a Predator. And then my army, which is the Steel Legion, which just look fucking cool. I mean, come on, that looks cool. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're some dirty Xenos player that plays frickin' Tyranids or the space gays, the fucking space elves. This looks cool. You gotta admit. I mean, I love the camo color schemes on the Chimeras, and you know, it goes with the background of the world because it's an industrial world. They produce a metric fuck ton of vehicles to the point where, instead of buying somebody his first car, they buy him his first Chimera. Every single man is issued with a Chimera, because why not? So it's a fully armoured regiment, and again that goes with the whole the background, like the you know, the poison atmosphere and what have you, because all these are all sealed. You'll notice their sentinels and their tanks are all, you know, environmentally sealed, so that the guards can, you know, take their masks off and coats off in the back of these things and relax as much as you can in the back of it on a transport carrier. Probably be throwing up. I used to throw up in those fucking metal boxes. But yeah, so, and obviously they've got the mustard yellow trench coats on, which protect them from the environment, and you know, it blends in with the environment. I mean, Armageddon's like this desert wasteland world, and at the bottom here you've got the orcs, naturally. I've never played orcs, you know, but a lot of my buddies have orcs, and I don't know, there's something that's really cool about orcs. I don't know, they've got like an endearing quality, don't they? I mean, yes, they're nasty and they're vicious, but they've got this, I don't know, orkiness, you know, this endearing kind of sort of theme to them, which I quite like. And in the upcoming videos I'll be doing battle reports where 2 of my opponents will each have their Orc army, 4,000 points each, and I'll have my Steel Legion plus all the guys that are attached to them. So you get here and you get your introduction. Oh, by the way, please, in the comments below, if you would like me to do a reading of these books, like the Armageddon book and the Cityfight book, I'd be more than happy to do like an audiobook, a reading of these from cover to cover, if you want it. I mean, put it in the comments below, and if you would like it, you know, thumbs up and all that good stuff. Or just send me a private message, you know. Right, so you've got the introduction right here, all in black and white. They go through the third war for Armageddon, the forces of Armageddon, and army list variants. Now, the thing that's disappointing about this book is that the army lists, we'll get to it, but they're poo. I mean, the reason you get this book is for the cool story and the, you know, and the showcasing of the miniatures and all that stuff. You don't get it for rules content as such, but it does have rules content. So it goes through the full history of Armageddon here, which is awesome. It's a great read, really inspiring. If you wanna get into building a fucking huge Imperial Guard force, like, you know, when you lose motivation to paint or to do miniatures and stuff, just read like 1 page of this, and you'll be like, I want to paint more miniatures. Give me more metal. It's freaking awesome. There's the legend himself, Guzkul Thrucker, going freaking berserk. Orcs are never beaten in battle. We always come back if I never go. Awesome. And then they got the opening move, so like a sort of a strategy of what the Orcs are doing and what the Imperials are doing to counter them. And they go through parts. Part 2, Return of the Beast, being the Orcs. Ground Zero, all the fighting that's happening. See, you know, this is the kind of stuff I like. Like, you know, these little bits of artwork that you get here, the little black and white snippets. That just adds to the theme. I mean, instead of having a page of text there, just that little thing makes such a big difference, in my opinion. Right, and then they got Total War Phase 4, and then they'll go through the actual rules and like fighting the third Armageddon War. They got like all the characters, the sort of named people that were famous in the war. Archimedes, Guzkul Thrucker, legend, and they give you the Codex required. So Speed Freaks, Orcs, obviously, Black Templar, Space Marines, Salamanders, but Steel Legioners, Imperial Guard, naturally. So then they go Orc Cult of Speed. So that you'll find, we'll get to it later, but the Imperial Guard are, they don't give you much Imperial Guard in this, but for the Orcs, this is great. So they give you a speed cult. Naturally, it's, hang on, let me have some coffee here. Cheers. Ooh, I need that. So naturally, the terrain in Armageddon is sort of blasted wastelands and big and open, which lends itself to mechanized warfare, and obviously, you know, Orcs on bikes and trucks just cruising around Mad Max style. This is really Orc Mad Max army. That's what it is. You have fucking Mel Gibson in here with a shotgun painted green. So yeah, got the Speed Freak army list, which is really cool. And they do the usual, like, 3rd edition thing, that's a 0 to 1 war boss. So you can have 0 of him, or you can only have 1 of him. So they give you kind of limits on the slots. And I mean, you could play this in the modern edition. I don't see why not. I mean, you just say to your opponent, hey, do you mind if I use the army list from, you know, Codex Armageddon? And I can't see anybody saying no, because it's, you know, it's just another themed force, you know. And if they say no, then pack up your miniatures and fucking leave. So yeah, and they go through a bit more here. They've got, you know, all these units like Nob Warbikes, Warbike Outriders. They've got some special rules here. Grot Riggers, again Mad Max style, Crushers, Armored Tops, Force Fields. Special rules for the Warbike, special rules for the Nob Warbike mob. They've got Fighter Bombers, which are the little flying copter things with special rules. They've got Heavy Support, Gundruk. The squadron consists of between 1 and 3 gun trucks. Then they got, yeah, a bit of a showcase. Now, you know, ever since I was young, right? Like, I started playing 40k when I was like 13, I think. It was 1998, so it was 3rd edition. 3rd edition had just come out in 98, and when I saw these guys, these Steel Legion dudes, I thought they were so cool. I was like, I will build an army of these guys one day. Like, I'm gonna do it. And as of sort of last year, I'm building that army. You know, I waited, what, 17 years, but I'm finally building this fucking army. If I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. It might take 17 years, but I'll do it. So, and I love these. They're timeless. They're timeless. You'll notice that the last guns they got are a special pattern. They all got folding stocks. So when they go in the back of armored personnel carriers, they can fold the stocks down and won't take too much space. And like these, that has got to be the coolest heavy weapon team ever. That is like a real heavy weapon team. You've got the guy on the bolter on the gun, and the other guy feeding the ammunition. It's it's awesome, you know. I mean, look, the color scheme for the Chimeras is a bit outdated, but I mean, you can modernize that. You can make it look really cool. And they've got sort of alternate color schemes here, like a sort of a brown, sort of like a dusky brown, like this blue grey. And the thing with Armageddon is it's not just desert warfare. You had these jungles that were infested by feral orcs. So they used to send in these veteran jungle fighters in this. So I mean, you can really vary up the patterns. I mean, you can give these in the upcoming painting tutorials. I'm doing two. I'm doing the regular color scheme, and I'm going to do something special, a bit special on the second miniature. So you can really vary it up, and the background lends itself to that. Then you've got they actually had their own specific commissar. I don't think he looks really good. I don't have him, unfortunately, but I do like the commanders because they got the sort of mask shaped like a skull. Oh, salamanders! You know, out of all the Space Marine chapters, the salamanders are genuinely just nice guys. They're nice guys. You know, they wear green armor like Ninja Turtles. You know, they sort of skulk around in sewers and paint their armor green, and then come out to help people. They're the Ninja Turtles of the Space Marines. Yeah, and then I mean, they got all the iconography here. And these guys fought obviously in the Third War for Armageddon. And then you had the Black Templars. Now these freaks. This used to be my force. My very first 40k force was Black Templars, and these guys are fanatics. They are fanatics. And the cool thing about them is they're black. So you spray paint them fucking black, you do some edge highlights, paint the shoulder pads white, symbols on, good to go. Like, you can paint an army of these guys really quick, and they look cool. It's not just like, oh, they're easy to paint, they look shit. They're easy to paint, but they look cool. Now this miniature here, High Marshal Helbrecht, he is fucking awesome. He looks so cool. You know, again, this is the thing with this era. You get these like timeless miniatures, obviously in metal, so they'll last you forever. And they're just timeless. They're awesome. Like, that miniature will always be cool. Here we go, Orc Speed Freaks. Again, you know, they got this endearing quality to him. And imagine that motherfucker. His miniature's metal. Like, if your opponent is pissing you off, you just put him in a sock and hit him with it. I mean, you could throw him through a freaking wall. Like, it's, you know, you put him on one edge of the table and it flips the table. Ah! Yeah, and again, you've got all the usual stuff. You've got the knobs and mega armor, you've got all the bikes and with the little grots on them, you know, repairing them as they go. They got some of the additional Space Marine chapters that lent a hand. I really like the Mortifactors. This colour scheme of them is a bit outdated, but if you do it sort of modernised, you know, more crisp, clean, and different sort of highlights and stuff, Mortifactors look freaking cool. And in fact, that is going to be one of my other forces that is going to be joining the Steel Legion in battle. And these guys are going to get painted up, and I'll do a painting tutorial on these guys. Like I said, I've got a lot planned. Like you'll notice, this is before the Death Korps of Krieg came out. They used these miniatures as Death Korps of Krieg. They just painted the sort of skull mask on over the gas mask of the respirator. And you got the old stormtroopers here, the little sort of mouse-faced ones, mouse mask, mouse troopers. And they got a little bit more here. Battlefields Armageddon, showcasing some of the training. You'll remember back to this time that, you know, in the White Dwarfs, they used to actually teach you how to make terrain. They're like, okay, we're going to show you how to build a crater. We're going to show you how to build blasted ruins. And it was great. They don't do that anymore, which sucks. In fact, actually, there's a guy on YouTube that does a really good terrain tutor, Mel. He's mega. He does a lot of terrain stuff. So just looking at that reminded me of him. So check him out. Black Templar. So they got some Black Templar special rules here. Of course, they released the Black Templars Codex separately. So you could always mix and match, couldn't you? They've got an army list for the Black Templars here. And I think it's Salamanders as well. So they got Salamanders Legion. Now they've got Armageddon Steel Legion. You see what I mean? So all it is, it's like they explain it, Steel Legion mechanized infantry, and they just go, okay, well, you know, tithed and planned, and then where is it? So basically, what it boils down to is each squad of infantry has a chimera, and then the chimera is I mean, this it goes through the rules of them, but I don't think that this is any different to the regular chimera rules. It's the same thing. So it's just like, okay, you want to build Steel Legion, not really any special rules, but just give each man a chimera, and you're like, okay, well, thanks for that. So they do a lot with all the other forces, but they don't really do much of the Steel Legion. But that said, all the art makes up for it, and just the miniatures make up for it because they're so fucking cool. And you go to the back here. Oh, so this is quite cool. And this has been phased out of the Imperial Guard Codex. Obviously, the sort of Hive Gang militia. The guys I'm using for this are the you know, the Chaos Cultists, and I've been converting them for Hive Gang militia, and that's just cool because I mean, again, they're the Hive cities on Armageddon, so they're pretty rough places. Guys are, you know, sneaking around the tunnels, shivving each other through the buttholes and stuff. So it's pretty cool. And then you get to the end of the book. So it's not a very long book, but this is interesting here because this gives you exactly which regiments and forces fought in the Third War for Armageddon. So if you're like, okay, well, I want to add some Space Marines, so you look through here and you go, oh, here we are. Where's the? There we are, mortar factors. And you go, okay, yeah, well, mortar factors fought, so I'm going to add 2 squads in HQ and 2 rhinos, just a small force to attach onto the Steel Legion. And you go, okay, well, what other cool? You know what I mean? You just look through it and you sort of mix and match. So you get a lot of options there. They give you a nice map at the end there, detailing the sort of. There's that equatorial jungle I was talking about, where those feral orcs sneak about and procreate because they're actually mushrooms, but they're orcs, but they grow like mushrooms. I don't know. Somebody that plays orcs can explain that to me. So that's the Codex Armageddon. Now, I'm going to breeze through this quite quick because this is taking a little bit longer than I expected. But Cityfight. Again, this is an old book, also from 3rd edition, and on the cover they've got the old Cadians. You know, it's freaking cool, isn't it? Yeah, I love this kind of stuff. This art is freaking brilliant. It's so evocative. You look at this and you're like, right, I'm going to play Imperial Guard. And I'll be doing a showcase in the next couple of weeks. These guys, because they're no longer sold anymore. I mean, you can get them on eBay and stuff, but they're expensive, the old metal miniatures. But there's a company called Victoria Miniatures, and they make basically a modernized resin version of this, where the proportions are, like better. They're not as bulky and stuff as the old miniatures. And they make a resin version of these guys. And I've happened to get some of those, and they're fantastic, really good, and I want to showcase them as well. Hi guys, sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to say something really quickly. I'm on Patreon at the moment, as most of you know. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of time to make videos, but I thoroughly enjoy it. It's so much fun, and I'd very much like to be able to do this full time. And you guys have supported me so much so far. I'm just asking for a little bit more, and please think about becoming a patron for my videos, because like I said, I would like to be able to do this full time and bring you guys like 2 videos every single week. Thanks very much. So you can kind of play these older regiments. It's doable. There's companies out there that are making it. So the very first scene you get is this really cool scene, which is just a city fight. The book is called Cityfight, and there's a city fight. Wonder that. Okay, so you go through the initial blurb, introduction. The thing is with this book is it's packed full of really cool stuff, I think. So it goes through what's in this book: preparing for battle, Cityfight rules, building the city, and Cityfight missions. And it goes how to play Cityfight. So Cityfight's very much a squad-based game, and they add in a lot of more in-depth rules to the game. So things like you can shoot through walls, and moving between different floors, and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. It's a lot of fun, and it would be really, really cool to add into campaigns. So if you're playing a campaign, and you're playing, I don't know, 1750 points or 2,400 points of 40k, and then you kind of go through the campaign, you can have a little city fight where you build a small force, your enemy builds a small force, and that will influence the sort of outcome of the campaign, which I think is pretty cool. And the fact that you got sort of rules for it is quite fun. And these rules are pretty good. Some of them are a bit counter logic, but they explain them. They're not like, okay, just do this rule for reasons. They actually explain, like, okay, you can shoot through walls, and the reason for that is X, Y, and Z. So they give you an introductory scenario here, which is great. So they build you all the ruins, and they give you all of the sort of what's going on turn by turn, just to explain everything, which I think is, in my opinion, that is the best way to explain a rule set. You just give an introductory scenario, and you explain what's happening turn by turn, and it's fantastic. Okay, so they've got the Cityfight core rules here. So they go through all the different kinds of terrain. Oh, geez, look at that art, man. It's amazing. So they go through moving models in a unit, entering and moving within buildings. So they give you all the diagrams and stuff, and your jump packs, what you can do with jump packs. I'll tell you what are really nasty in this, Tyranids. If you play Cityfight and you're up against Tyranids, you're in for some serious pain. Like, it's ideal for Tyranids. And that's the thing, when you read like the fluff for Tyranids, and you read about them, sort of infiltrating cities and stuff, and taking them over, it really comes to life with this book. Like, if you play Tyranids against Imperial Guard, the Tyranids really feel like, when you read about them in the fluff taking cities and stuff, they're really freaking dangerous. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so they got like line of sight rules. So you see here, it depends on distance. It doesn't depend on if you can actually see the model, but let me just read you the designer's notes. So that seems weird. So it goes, so yeah, the designer's note says here, it may seem strange that you can see models that are hidden behind brick walls or rubble. However, you should remember that it's possible to hear or sense models that you can't see, and that many troops will have motion detectors or other forms of scanners that will detect nearby enemy troops, which is true. If you're in a city environment, you know, the slightest noise you can alert your enemies, as even a las pistol is perfectly capable of shooting through a wall to hit a target beyond. This means that it's possible for an entire battle to be fought through walls, floors, ceilings, without visual contact ever being made, which is freaking cool. And that's right, like, you're moving through a building and you hear something on the other side, and you know it's not your friendly guys, you just put a fucking burst through the wall. You know what I mean? So that makes sense. Like, when you first read it, like, that doesn't make any sense, but you read his notes and you're like, actually, hang on a second, that, yeah, that would happen. And, oh, look at this arch here. Move the gun! Oh, I need some more coffee. Cheers again. Yeah, and then they've got, like, all different kinds of cover, which is fairly standard. Height advantages, which was important. And again, like Tyranids, because you've got those little winged freaks. They're great for getting up to heights and stuff, for getting height advantage. Assaults, launching assaults, how to go through all that. Assault results. Codex modifications, which is really cool. Siege armor, Codex Tyranids. Yeah, it even says here, Tyranids are formidable opponents in cities. And they are. It's pretty cool to play against them in cities though. So they've got modifications to all the codexes here. So let's skip ahead to where's Codex, or Codex Assassins. Wow, they've got modifications for that. Dark Eldar, Chaos, Imperial Guard, here we are. The main problems encountered by the Imperial Guard in Cityfight are caused by the inflexible organization. Large 10-man squads are unable to provide covering fire, and the massed firepower of their support weapons teams can rarely be brought to bear in the confined spaces of the urban battlefield. Many Imperial Guard regiments will therefore adopt a more flexible organization to reflect the circumstances. So then it goes through, you know, how you do stuff. And so infantry squads, stormtroopers may not be mounting a chimeras. Models are split between two teams. However, the team without the squad sergeant receives a -1 modifier on all morale test. So it's pretty subterranean movement. Now that's cool. You see moving through the sewers and popping up like hardened veterans, popping up with knives in their teeth and shit, like fucking pirates climbing enemy ships and stuff. So mission special rules. This is pretty cool as well. Then they've got like defender's armory. So if you know the enemy's coming, you're setting up your city. You set everything up. You set booby traps, barbed wire, pits, tank traps, defenses, bunkers, ready for the onslaught of your enemy. It's freaking awesome. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And again, you know, I know I'm breezing through it here, but there's a lot in this book. That's why. So then they give you Cityfight missions, which are quite fun. Just a meeting engagement, regular mission, high ground, ready force, fire sweep, coup de mine, the gauntlet, and grand assault. So after all that, they give you a bit of background here. So the famous sieges of the Imperium. The Battle for Hades Hive, that was Third War for Armageddon. Valhalla City, Nemesis Hive, the Siege of the Fang. You go through some more here, and then Lords of the Night. Right, this is it's like also like background stuff. And they go through a full battle report here. This is the Night Lords versus Imperial Guard, naturally, and they go through a full battle report here. As you can imagine, the Night Lords are pretty formidable opponents in a city fight. So they go through all that here. It's really inspiring. Again, you know, great ruined buildings. Looks really cool. It's very, very visually sort of stimulating and you know, gets you really keen on playing the game. Then right at the end, you know, this is what they should be doing in all of these extra supplemental books. This kind of stuff I miss. I mean, I think I speak for most people when I say we used to love this kind of stuff in these expansion books and in White Dwarfs and stuff. You know, this is great. So they go through all the tools and stuff you need, and all the materials, and they like show you, okay, this is how you cut out this, and this is how you build these buildings, and this is what you add, and add this and that and the next thing, and then spray them and then dry brush them. And yeah, I mean, like, look at that. You know, that looks complicated. It doesn't. I mean, it looks complicated, but it isn't complicated. I mean, when you go through all the materials, it's easy to build, and look how it turns out. I mean, it's awesome, and it's not even difficult to do. I mean, you can build like a cool set of terrain in like a weekend. You know what I mean? It's just good stuff. Very, very good advice. Very good little section of the book. And they go through like specific kinds of buildings, like this is the Manufactorum, and you know, a janitorium and a hab block and all that cool stuff. Advertising some of the old terrain, fine. And then, you know, going through planning a city set. So you want to have a game, you know, you should consider the planning element of things and plan out your city. So it's kind of fair between both sides, and you both have a good game. So here we go. You've got some masterclass stuff, so adding essentially extra detail to the buildings, and then they come out great. I mean, it's not even difficult to do, and it's fantastic. And putting it all together, and then they, you know, the end of the book, it's a bit of a showcase. So they're showing all the boards and the cool miniatures and that kind of stuff. And then they give you a section on Cityfight campaigns. I mean, you imagine a city. Cities are naturally huge, especially in 40k. You get some, I mean, half cities and stuff. So you can imagine fighting sort of block by block through a city, you know, and like getting pushed back and then assaulting again and taking back another sector and like reinforcing with barbed wire to withstand the counterattack and all that cool stuff. So they go through that, you know, like the considerations you'd need. And then here we are. You know, this is so cool. Experienced. Your guys make it through city fights. They've been fighting for months in a city, grizzled veterans, you know, getting better at city fighting, learning how to cover each other, learning how to be sneaky and use subterfuge to defeat the enemy. It's great, you know, all this kind of stuff, giving you guys experience, and they get special rules. Guerrillas, tank hunters, sewer rats, stealthy, cunning, city fighters. It's cool. I love this kind of stuff. Campaigns turn me on. Campaigns turn me on. They're awesome. I got some more fluffier, and they go through, you know, unique cities. So Eldar craft worlds, Jesus, I would not want to try and build an Eldar craft world. That would be fucking complicated. You know, go through all different kinds of cities: demon cities, feral worlds, hive cities, and they go through again another story, battle for Vogan. And right at the end, they've got some designers' notes from the dudes that put this together, and they got a bit of a showcase. This was a Golden Demon over, yeah, Golden Demon 2000 battle scene. I mean, look at this. How cool is this? You got to admit, that's pretty freaking cool. Oh, stupid fucking glare, piss off. I mean, that's awesome. You know what I mean? I love that kind of stuff. So inspiring right at the end of the book. So guys, that was Codex Cityfight, as well as if I can find the fucking thing. That was Codex Cityfight as well as Codex Armageddon. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to some more videos. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos in the coming weeks. I want to do this full time. And bring you guys lots more content. I've got a to-do list that's like 3 fucking A4 pages long. Seriously, it's that long. And I just want to get, I want to do this full time. But guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.